Hey guys, welcome back to the Hauppauge Gaming Zone. Today we're going to do a little more of an in-depth tutorial and guide on how to capture and render video that you've captured with your Hauppauge either Hdpvr or Gaming Edition Hdpvr. Also, we're going to go through Sony Vegas and how we're able to make our video clips look as good as they possibly can based on the file that the Hauppauge gives us. So last week you saw a quick tutorial from Light Gaming HD, and he did a great job of showing you the base settings and what he uses to get good quality videos. He uses the Gaming Edition, but I also wanted to include the guys that have the regular edition Hdpvr. So click on the Hdpvr above that you have, and we'll take you to that portion for capture, and then we'll move on to editing from there. Okay, so we're here at the desktop and we are going to launch the ArcSoft Total Media Extreme. So this is if you have just a regular Hdpvr, this is what you would have. And while this brings up the capture window here, what you want to do is obviously it's going to say, you know, Hdpvr here. Your input is your component cables. And one of the things we want to look at is our device settings. Now, I have yet to find how well these make any difference on the color scheme and that sort of thing. I basically leave them at default and then do all my color correcting and that sort of thing in Vegas, or you can do it in whatever editing program you're using. The reason I show it to you is just so you know it's there. In case you change something here, you can go back and just go back to default. Video encoder here. Really don't want to mess with anything here. This basically just talks about the NTSC format, which is basically the format for North America. You can encode for other regions, but for the most part you won't have a need to. So just so you're aware it's here, but we're not really going to do anything with that. Okay. Next is format settings, and this is really where we want to get into it. So you can see we're recording at 1280 by 720, so that's high def, 60 frames a second. The quality rate, now you can see there's on the low end 0.2 to 13.5, and I've got it set at constant bit rate. The reason for that is because we want to capture as much data as we can while we're recording the video stream coming in from the Hauppauge. That being said, it's going to make for bigger files. It's going to take more computing power. You know, if your computer's not quite up to speed, this may be something you need to reduce down. Now, there is an argument out there that says you don't necessarily need to run at this high of a resolution, or excuse me, a frame rate and capture speed. I would say that may be true, but I have yet to test it to know where that point is that you can go down to and find out how it will still look good, but not run at the highest settings possible. So I leave this cranked at constant and all the way over to 13.5, and we're good to go there. Over here for the 2-channel audio source, use the AC3 audio encoder. Over on the video encoder tab, again, everything is maxed out. We're doing constant, and we're good to go. So let's I'm gonna load up this piece of gameplay here, and we're gonna record this. Okay. One thing to note is that over here on the left where it says PlayStation 3, AVC HD, or Xbox 360, those are really determining what file format you're going to record in, and they don't necessarily make much of a difference. Although I will say the PlayStation 3 is it's a MT2S file format, and I seem to have had the best luck with that file format than any other. The Xbox 360 records an MP4, which works really well also. AVCHD I don't use just because the file format's a little hairy to use inside of Vegas, so I don't use it at all. But so I would say pick, Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3. This does not depend upon which console you're recording from. So if you have a PlayStation 3, don't think you have to use that setting. You could use Xbox 360 and record MP4s. It just depends on what your editing software is capable of using and handling in a reasonable format. Look at all these campers. Wow. So, like I said, if you have an Xbox 360, you can click it over to PlayStation 3 and use that setting. It just determines the file format. It has no bearing on the actual console that you're using. Alright, so now that we've got some footage here, we're going to drop this into Vegas and see what we can do with it. Okay, so assuming you've got a gaming edition HDPVR, you have a different piece of software called ArcSoft Showbiz. So let's launch that, and we'll show you what it looks like to capture and adjust the settings in the software for the ArcSoft Showbiz. I suppose I should have my Xbox on so that we're good to go here. There we go. So what you're going to do is you're going to come to this screen here. This is the base editing screen where you can do simple editing procedures. We want to go to capture. That's where we are headed. Alright, so it's going to take a second and it's going to figure out what source we're using. Better turn off my volume there. Sorry about that. We need to get rid of the volume in the module here. That's what it's doing. Okay, so we're going to turn down the volume there. And that should solve all our problems. Yep. You can turn it down in the volume mixer so that you don't have that popping up while you're watching it or while you're doing whatever you're doing. So let's blow this up full screen. Capture window here. We're watching gameplay. Over here, it's telling us we're using an HDPVR, using the component inputs, excuse me. We are going to go pull up device settings just so you can see them. And I have yet to find out if these actually make a difference anywhere. I prefer to do all my color correcting in Vegas and leave it there rather than mess with these settings. But if for some reason something should get out of whack and you're not sure what happened, you can always go back and hit the default button. Video encoder should be on NTSC_M, and you're good to go there. So just so you're aware of it, but we're not going to change anything there. Format settings is where we're going to head next. And this is the big one. This is where you'll see a lot of arguments about, but basically we're recording in high def 720p, 60 frames a second. The quality bitrate, we have it all the way over at 13.5 megabits per second at a constant bitrate with a 2-channel AC3 audio encoder. Reason for that is that's the best audio encoder that will work with Vegas out of the two choices. And this because the video quality setting, because, well, quite frankly, more data we capture, the higher we can crank the quality on the video when we render it out. So we're going to leave that there. Video encoder over here, again, it's all maxed out, set it constant. Again, the caveat to this is it's going to take more computing power, more disk space, and if your computer's not quite up to the task, it will suffer. So make sure you have plenty of hard drive space cleared off and your computer is capable. These three settings over here, PlayStation 3, AVCHD, or Xbox 360, strictly have to do with the file format that you record in. Xbox 360 is an MP4 format, which is highly compatible with lots of editing software. PlayStation 3 format is a MT2S format, and it does a really good job, but it has no designation or bearing on which console you're using. If you're running an Xbox 360, you can click the PlayStation 3 setting and capture that file format. It doesn't matter. So keep that in mind. Of course, the capture button is down here, and we've already captured some footage from the other side that we'll bring in, but you know how to use that, so that's not an issue. And we'll go from there. So we're going to stop this portion, and then we'll jump into the editing section.